What would you do if the person sitting at your family table was never really the person they claimed to be? Imagine trusting someone for months, laughing with them, defending them, slowly letting them become part of your world, only to discover that every single moment was built on a lie so dangerous it could destroy everything around you. That is exactly the storm about to explode across Heartland Ranch in Season 20. And the most shocking part is not that Nathan lied. It is the moment Amy finally realizes how deep those lies truly go. Because when Amy Fleming stops protecting someone and starts fearing them instead, you know something has gone terribly wrong. One quiet discovery, one hidden truth, and one phone call that changes Heartland forever. Stay with me because this story gets darker, more emotional, and more personal than anything this ranch has faced in years. For a long time, Heartland has always been a place built on trust. That is what makes the ranch feel different from the rest of the world. People come there carrying pain, mistakes, and broken pieces of themselves, but somehow Heartland gives them space to heal. Amy has spent most of her life believing in that idea. She believes people deserve second chances. She believes broken things can still become whole again. We have watched her help frightened horses that nobody else could reach. We have watched her open her heart to people after experiencing losses that should have destroyed her ability to trust anyone ever again. Losing Ty changed Amy forever, but it never turned her cold. If anything, it made her even more careful about protecting the peace she rebuilt around Lindy and the ranch. That is why Nathan's arrival in Season 20 felt so important from the beginning. At first, Nathan seemed like someone who naturally fit into the Heartland world. He had an easy smile, a calm personality, and the kind of energy that made people lower their guard around him without even realizing it. He never forced himself into conversations. He never acted desperate for attention. Instead, he moved through the ranch quietly, almost carefully, like someone trying not to disturb the balance around him. And honestly, that made him more believable. Fans were divided almost immediately. Some viewers felt Nathan brought a fresh, emotional energy into Amy's life, while others sensed something strange, hiding underneath his calm behavior. There was always this feeling that Nathan was watching everyone a little too closely, listening a little too carefully, like he was trying to understand the ranch for reasons nobody else could see yet. The smartest thing Season 20 does with Nathan's character is that the writers never make him feel obviously suspicious in the beginning. They let the audience relax around him first. They let him become part of the routine at Heartland. He shared meals with the family. He joked with Lou. He slowly built trust with Amy. And that is exactly what makes the betrayal hit so much harder later. Because when someone dangerous looks dangerous, people protect themselves naturally. But when someone dangerous looks kind, calm, and trustworthy, they get invited into places they should never have access to. That is the real danger Nathan brings into Amy's life this season. The cracks begin showing in very small ways, tiny moments that seem meaningless at first. Nathan steps outside whenever his phone rings. He changes the subject whenever certain parts of his past come up in conversation. Sometimes his stories do not fully match the details he mentioned earlier in the season. Nothing big enough to expose him immediately. Nothing dramatic enough to make the family panic. But Heartland fans started noticing these moments almost instantly, because the show keeps repeating them quietly in the background, like warning signs nobody fully understands yet. Amy notices them too, even if she does not want to admit it right away. That is the thing about Amy Fleming. She has spent her entire life reading emotions without words. Horses taught her how to notice fear hiding underneath calm behavior. They taught her how silence can reveal more than conversation ever could. So even when Nathan says all the right things, something inside Amy begins reacting differently around him. She cannot explain it yet. She cannot prove anything, but her instincts slowly stop trusting him. And then there is one moment that changes everything. A name gets mentioned during a simple conversation at the ranch, nothing dramatic, nobody else notices anything strange, but Nathan's reaction lasts just long enough for Amy to catch it. His face changes for barely a second. Fear, recognition, panic, then it disappears, but Amy sees it, and once she sees it, she cannot unsee it. That single moment becomes the beginning of the end. From that point forward, Amy starts watching Nathan differently. Before, she listened to him with trust. Now she listens carefully. Before, she accepted his explanations naturally. Now she notices every pause before he answers a question, every nervous glance at his phone, every conversation he tries to redirect away from his past. The ranch itself starts feeling heavier around him. Even the quiet moments carry tension now. And the audience feels it too, because season 20 slowly transforms Nathan from a comforting presence into something deeply unsettling without ever changing his personality on the surface. That is what makes this storyline so powerful. Nathan never becomes a cartoon villain. He still smiles, he still acts calm, he still helps around the ranch. But now every normal moment feels different because Amy's trust is beginning to collapse in real time. And once trust starts breaking at Heartland, the damage spreads fast. Because this is not just about Amy anymore. This is about Lindy, about the family, about every person who opened their home to someone they never truly knew. And the closer Amy gets to the truth, the more dangerous the situation becomes. There is something terrifying about realizing your instincts were warning you long before your mind was ready to listen. That is exactly where Amy finds herself as season 20 moves deeper into Nathan's mystery. Every small moment she ignored before suddenly starts replaying in her head with a completely different meaning. The late-night phone calls, the vague answers about his past, the way he always seemed calm on the surface, but carried this invisible tension underneath everything he said. It is like watching a puzzle slowly turn over piece by piece until an image begins forming that you wish you had never seen at all. What makes this storyline feel so emotionally heavy is that Amy does not want Nathan to be lying. That is important to understand. Part of her desperately wants all these strange feelings to be wrong because letting someone into your world after losing Ty was already one of the hardest things she has ever done. Amy built walls after Ty died, even if she never admitted it out loud. She became stronger, wiser, more independent, but she also became careful in ways she never used to be. Trust stopped being automatic for her. Every person who entered her life had to earn space around her daughter, her family, and the ranch itself. Nathan somehow managed to cross those emotional barriers slowly, patiently, and naturally. That is why discovering the truth hurts Amy on such a deep level. It is not just betrayal. It feels personal. It feels targeted. The tension inside Heartland Ranch becomes impossible to ignore. Even normal conversations begin carrying hidden pressure underneath them. Lou notices Amy becoming quieter whenever Nathan enters the room. Jack notices Amy watching people more carefully than usual. But nobody fully understands why yet, because Amy herself is still trying to figure out whether her instincts are warning her about real danger or simply fear from past heartbreak. That uncertainty becomes emotionally exhausting for her. She wants proof. She needs something solid before accusing someone of carrying secrets serious enough to threaten the people she loves. And then the show delivers one of the most important scenes of the entire season. It happens quietly. No dramatic music, no screaming confrontation, just one ordinary afternoon at the ranch. Amy is handling routine paperwork inside the office when she accidentally discovers something Nathan never intended anyone to see. At first, it seems small, just a document connected to a different name. But the moment Amy reads it fully, everything inside her changes. The blood drains from her face, her breathing slows, and suddenly, all the confusion she has been carrying finally locks into place. Nathan has not just been hiding personal problems, he has been hiding an entirely different identity. The man standing inside Heartland Ranch is connected to an active investigation happening in another province. The details remain intentionally mysterious at first, but the implications are terrifying. Nathan's real past involves fraud, missing records, and dangerous people searching for him long before he ever arrived at Heartland. Worse than that, he knowingly brought all of that danger directly into Amy's world without warning anyone. Every meal shared at the family table suddenly feels poisoned by deception. And the hardest part for Amy is realizing how long he looked her directly in the eyes while lying every single day. That realization breaks something inside her trust completely. One of the strongest emotional details in this storyline is the way Amy reacts after learning the truth. She does not explode emotionally. She does not run outside demanding answers from Nathan. Instead, she goes completely still. That quiet reaction actually makes the moment far more devastating because it shows Amy processing everything at once. You can almost feel her replaying every interaction she had with Nathan from the beginning of the season. Every kind word, every smile, every moment she defended him when other people questioned his intentions. Now all those memories feel unstable. And then Amy starts thinking about Lindy. The second Lindy enters her mind, the situation stops being emotionally complicated and becomes crystal clear. Because Amy can forgive someone for hurting her personally. She has survived heartbreak before. But risking her daughter's safety is a completely different line. Nathan did not just lie to Amy. He entered the life of her child carrying secrets that could bring dangerous consequences directly to their doorstep. That thought changes everything instantly. Amy walks toward the window and looks out across the ranch. The same land her family spent generations protecting suddenly feels vulnerable in a way she has never experienced before. Heartland has always represented safety to Amy. It is the place people return to when life falls apart, but now even the ranch itself feels exposed because someone dangerous managed to slip inside its walls through trust alone. That is when Amy makes the decision. And once Amy Fleming makes a decision, there is no hesitation afterward. She picks up the phone with steady hands and calls the police. The moment is chilling precisely because of how calm she sounds. No panic, no emotional breakdown, just quiet certainty. Amy explains everything she discovered, every connection Nathan tried to hide, every detail pointing toward the truth he buried since arriving at Heartland. And somewhere outside that house, Nathan is still walking around the ranch completely unaware that his entire life is about to collapse. What happens next changes the emotional atmosphere of season 20 completely. When the truth spreads through the family, the reactions are painful in different ways. Lou feels humiliated for trusting Nathan so quickly. Jack becomes deeply silent, which somehow says more than anger ever could. Even the ranch itself starts feeling emotionally different. Heavier somehow, like betrayal has settled into the walls of the house. Nobody knows what to say because nobody understands how someone could become part of their lives while hiding something this massive underneath the surface. But the most haunting reaction belongs to Nathan himself. Because when he finally realizes Amy called the police, his face does not show anger first. It shows relief. And that single expression may be the darkest clue season 20 has revealed so far. Nathan's expression changes everything after Amy makes that phone call. Because relief is not the reaction people expect from someone whose lies have just been exposed. Most people would panic. Most people would try to run, deny everything, or desperately fight to protect the life they built from deception. But Nathan's face tells a completely different story. For one brief moment, it almost looks like a man finally collapsing under the weight of carrying something too heavy for too long. And honestly, that tiny flicker of relief becomes one of the most disturbing moments in all of season 20. Because suddenly the audience starts asking a much bigger question. What if Nathan was not only hiding from the law, what if he was hiding from someone else too? That possibility changes the emotional direction of the entire storyline. Up until now, the betrayal felt personal, painful, and deeply emotional for Amy and the Heartland family. But now, the situation begins feeling dangerous in a way the ranch has not experienced in years. The writers slowly begin hinting that Nathan's past may involve people far more threatening than anyone originally imagined. Strange vehicles start appearing near the ranch road late at night. Nathan becomes increasingly nervous whenever unknown numbers call his phone. And even after the police become involved, it feels like the real storm has not arrived yet. It feels like Amy may have uncovered only the surface layer of something much darker underneath. What makes this storyline so powerful is the emotional conflict it creates inside Amy herself. Even after learning the truth, part of her still struggles with the reality that Nathan's kindness may not have been completely fake. That is the uncomfortable truth season 20 keeps forcing the audience to face. Nathan lied. Nathan manipulated people. Nathan brought danger into their lives. But at the same time, there were moments where he seemed genuinely connected to the ranch, genuinely peaceful around the family, genuinely different from the man his past describes. And that emotional contradiction makes everything harder for Amy, because now she cannot separate the lies from the real moments anymore. That confusion becomes especially painful when Lindy starts asking questions. Children notice tension long before adults realize it. Lindy can feel something changing around the ranch. She notices the whispered conversations, the nervous silence at dinner, the way Amy suddenly watches the world around her more carefully. And when Lindy innocently asks where Nathan went and why everyone seems upset, Amy's heartbreak becomes almost unbearable to watch. Because in that moment, Amy fully understands the true cost of letting the wrong person into their lives. It is not only about danger or betrayal anymore, it is about the emotional damage left behind after trust collapses inside a family. Jack tries to help Amy carry that weight the only way he knows how. He does not offer long speeches or dramatic advice. In classic Jack Bartlett fashion, he mostly listens. And honestly, those quiet conversations between Jack and Amy become some of the strongest emotional moments in the entire season. Jack understands something very important about Amy that other people often forget. She always blames herself first. Even when someone else causes the damage, Amy searches for what she should have noticed sooner, what signs she missed, what decisions she could have made differently. But Jack knows this situation is different. Nathan fooled everyone. Not because the family was weak or careless, but because good people naturally want to believe the best in others. That has always been the heart of Heartland itself. But Season 20 is asking a painful question. What happens when kindness becomes the very thing that puts you at risk? That question follows Amy through every episode after Nathan's secret explodes. You can see her becoming more guarded, more thoughtful, more aware of how easily trust can be manipulated. Yet the beautiful thing about Amy's character is that the betrayal does not destroy her softness completely. It changes her, yes. It hardens certain parts of her emotionally, but it does not turn her cruel. And that balance is what makes her storyline feel so real this season. Amy is not becoming weaker because she trusted the wrong person. She is becoming wiser about the cost of opening your heart in a world where not everyone deserves access to it. Meanwhile, the fandom theories surrounding Nathan grow more intense with every episode. Some viewers believe Nathan was protecting the ranch from an even larger threat connected to his past. Others think someone from Heartland's history secretly knew who Nathan really was long before Amy discovered the truth. And then there is the theory spreading rapidly through the fandom right now, the idea that Nathan's entire arrival at Heartland may have been intentional from the beginning, that he did not accidentally stumble into Amy's life at all, that someone sent him there for reasons we still do not fully understand. And honestly, if Season 20 has proven anything so far, it is that the truth is probably even darker than fans expect. Because Heartland is no longer telling a simple story about lies. It is telling a story about vulnerability, about what happens when grief leaves emotional doors open in ways people do not even realize. Amy spent years rebuilding herself after losing Ty. She fought to create stability for Lindy. She fought to protect the peace of the ranch. And Nathan stepped directly into that fragile healing process, carrying secrets capable of destroying all of it. But in the end, the most important moment of this entire storyline is not Nathan lying. It is Amy refusing to ignore the truth once she finally sees it. That is the real turning point of Season 20. Amy could have looked away. She could have convinced herself the situation was too complicated. She could have chosen comfort over confrontation. Instead, she stood alone with the truth in her hands and made the hardest decision possible. Not because it was easy, not because it did not hurt, but because protecting her family mattered more than protecting her feelings. And that single decision may end up changing Heartland forever. Because once trust breaks at Heartland Ranch, nothing ever returns exactly the way it was before. If this storyline shocked you too, drop your theories in the comments right now because Heartland fans are catching details that nobody else is noticing. And if Nathan's secret really is connected to someone from the ranch's past, Season 20 may be building toward the biggest twist this show has delivered in years. Subscribe right now because the next breakdown is going even deeper into the clues hidden across the latest episodes, and trust me, the story surrounding Nathan is far from over.